All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Life with Gerardo, where we're learning informal education from business owners, entrepreneurs, and just anyone that has any life lessons that have now succeeded in life. Today, we have Alex Shapiro with Can Monkey joining us today. What's up, Alex?
How
How
you
are you?
doing? Doing well, man. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, man. Of course. I have been wanting to talk to you for a while now because your guys' company is simple, not sexy, but profitable, and it's insane. Why don't you, before we even get into the background conversation, why don't you just tell everybody who you are, what you do, what you guys own, and go from there?
Awesome. Thank you again. So, Alex Shapiro, I'm the CEO, co-founder of Can Monkey. We are the first to automate trash day, essentially a marketplace for Airbnb or own homeowners to sign up their properties to get the cans taken to the curb and then returned once they're emptied. Founded in Scottsdale, Arizona,
Okay.
2018. It was a side hustle. My main business was in title and escrow at the time,
Okay.
working with real estate agents, investors, being like a business consultant, learning a lot from them subconsciously. And I think deep down I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but just didn't know how because I always was like a W-2 person. And when I was presented Cam Monkey, I initially laughed at the idea. My business partner started it. But I saw a need in it, especially here in Scottsdale with some of my clients that were converting some of their long-term rentals into short-term rental. And unbeknownst to us, Scottsdale is a short-term rental mecca of the
Yeah.
country, especially at
Mhm.
that time in 2017, 2018. And when the pandemic happened, I lost my job in corporate America and went all in Cam Monkey. And since then, have expanded just from outside of Arizona to now over 23 states, over 100 cities, 7,000 properties on our platform. And
7,000 properties. Congratulations to you guys.
thank you. Yeah. And really, like you said, taking an easy concept that our biggest competitor is Johnny next door, little neighbor kid, taking the cans to the curb.
Paying $5.
Paying, yeah, $10 a week sometimes, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not much more than what we're charging, and but we've been able to figure out how to not just create this business, but to make it sustainable, scalable, and like you said, profitable. And I truly believe, I think that's what all entrepreneurs say, but we're just getting started. Yeah, and that's just how we feel right now. We invested our money back into our own technology. So
Got like your own app,
we're
everything.
on the Apple Store, Google Play.
Got it.
We're a real legit technology company. It's crazy. We are a logistical technology company. My background's not in software engineering. My background's not in technology. My background's
Love
not
it.
even in
Love it.
business. I'm a delusionally optimistic person, and I thought I'd be able to do this, and I just kept doing it, and I just never quit. So
That's
here we are
awesome.
now.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for that, and congrats to you and your team and your partner. Like you said, you aren't or didn't have any plan to be here, but you're here, which is awesome. That's just the way God works.
Mhm.
You just go all in on something and it can truly succeed. So,
Yes.
before we talk about where you're at today, how your business is running, the challenges you did, why don't we talk about before?
Mhm.
Alex before Can Monkey.
Mhm.
You mentioned you were in real estate,
Mhm.
title, escrow. I'm a real estate agent here in Arizona, an investor. What is that what you planned? Did you grow up here in Arizona? Where'd you go to
Mhm.
college for? What did you originally wanna be? Let's go from there.
Good question. I've never been asked really that on a podcast yet. I think I was never good in school. C's got degrees was my motto. College wasn't really meant for me. I did go to SEC for 2 years, ASU for 2 years,
Okay.
never graduated. That senior year when people had offers, it just I didn't have that. I just felt like I didn't know what I wanted to be. I went to Florida after college, did a my uncle's a financial advisor.
Okay.
Got my life insurance license. This is like
That's
two
a tough test.
yeah. It was in 2010, right after I was, done with ASU, realizing too none of my 22-year-old friends really had any money to invest in or wanted life insurance policies, and also the market was just crazy at that time.
Yeah.
So I came back from Florida after about 8 months living there after I told all my friends I'll never see you again. Not really. I came back, my tail
Yeah,
between
yeah,
my
yeah.
legs and embarrassed, and
Like ashamed.
yeah, I'm like, "What
Yeah.
what am I gonna do now?" And stumbled into real estate. I had a buddy who knew of my parents that was starting with a rehab company. Charter Home Alliance was
Okay.
a Fannie Mae Sam vendor, one of two in all of Arizona that at that time, if you had a REO property, real estate owned property, and
Yeah.
you're a real estate agent that could do that, you had to use Charter Home Alliance or another company to do your rehab to get a bid. So it was like shooting fish in barrel, especially for being 22, 23-year-old, getting your first sales job. if you're an REO agent, which was all like it's all public information,
Yeah, yeah.
I reached out to you and said, "Hey, you need to rehab your property," which a lot of people did. There's
At that
not,
time,
yeah, if
especially.
you're getting a property from the bank, these homeowners were pissed. They were putting holes in the wall.
Yeah, they're not in good
They're
condition.
not in good condition. So we would go in there and we'd put a bid and we'd fix it. And like I said, we were one of two companies all in Phoenix. So it was really shooting fish and barrel. And so I got to meet a lot of real estate agents from doing that. They were all REO, mainly in the West Valley, just because that's just how it worked. And after being there for a year, Fidelity National Title had reached out about needing help to grow their West Valley. And since I had a lot of connections over there in the REO realm,
Making the connections with the real estate agents.
I got into title and escrow from that aspect. So this was like 2011 now, and I was at Fidelity for a couple of years. I went to North American Title, which was owned by Lennar. They're not here anymore, but was there for 5 years. And I found a niche in the investor world. Since I was already in the REO world,
Okay.
I just started working with investors and investor agents.
And for still the title though.
Yeah, for titles. So what I was doing, people who are big names in this market were like already using Fidelity at the time.
Yeah.
So I had to meet some of those people. But at the same time, I was really just starting that investor side of it.
Okay.
So we had Blackstone, BlackRock were here. So we had some of these larger investors, but then you had some of these not smaller, but like the Chris Imans, the Doug Hopkins, the guys that were
Yeah.
going to the courtroom steps at that point
Still
and
big.
still huge. Yeah, in their own, but not
Mm,
Blackstone and
correct.
some of those. So that was that era. They were the ones that started that. Then the TV show came out, Property Wars or whatever it
Yeah,
was with
yeah,
Doug
yeah.
Hopkins. So like it got big, but I just was in my own lane and I was just working with the investor worlds. When I went to North American Title, did the same thing. I got really into getting data, getting leads. I would help people with 90-day foreclosures, helping them provide all this information that they would need to do their work. And what I learned in title and escrow, it's not sexy. It's an ancillary fee. You need it. It's like gasoline. Why go to Shell instead of Chevron? You're gonna get gas, but maybe Chevron's 5 cents cheaper. Maybe Circle K has your favorite coffee inside, but whatever, maybe they know your name, but you build this relationship with whatever it is. And so that's how I saw title and escrow. So I'd always try to come in it as a business consultant. How do I provide more value to you? How do I help you get an extra deal this month or 2 months or whatever it is
Yeah.
that in return, just give me the title and escrow. So doing that for from 22 to 32, I think I just learned a lot.
Wow, you were there for 10 years.
Yeah, I did real estate till even in 2020 when I got laid off from my last company, I went back into real estate 2021 working with a like remotely working with Endpoint, which is owned by First American Title. So I got to
Mhm.
work with them from like 2021 to end of 2021. So that
Okay.
helped me keep going with Cam Monkey. So that was like a blessing. And
When sorry to cut you off.
yeah,
When you're going through this 10-year period, you said 22 to 23,
yeah,
but what
yeah.
was the 23
22 to 32.
22 to 32, I'm sorry. When did Can Monkey start? At what
Yeah,
age
so
there?
that was like so
30
22 was 2010, 11. I'd say 2018 was when I started. I invested in Cam Monkey November of 2018.
and you were how old?
I was 28.
28? Okay.
Yeah, I was 28
Just
because
to give a timeline for people.
yeah, I was 28 or 29 because I had my son was born in 2019. Yeah, so I was already 30. I think I was like 29, 30.
Did you feel late? I know
Um,
that's a weird question, but, like, 30 years old, I think in society today,
mhm,
everyone's saying, especially our parents,
yeah,
older generation, they're saying, "Hey, you gotta get your shit together.
yeah,
You don't have if you still don't have a career, you still don't have something, now you're just off venturing doing something else and you're 30 years
yeah.
old, especially if you just had a kid." I'm sure you got some sort of outside perspective and hate saying, "Dude, what are you doing? Stick with where you're at. It's going good. Ride it out."
So what happened? Yeah, and I think for me though is that I did really well when I was in title and escrow. I was making more money than my friends were. I actually had a career. I wear suits every day. So in
Yeah.
my mind, I was like living this character. I was like, I got to wear a 3-piece suit. I was like successful because that's what I looked like. I wasn't really successful. I didn't have the family at the time. I didn't have all that growing like into the industry,
Yeah, yeah.
but I still had a career, which a lot of my friends didn't have. So I felt secure in that aspect and I was good at what I did. Personable, like I said, title and escrow, you need it. As long as you can
Yeah.
meet people and do what you say you're gonna do and you do good for them, they introduce you to people. And so it was really easy. But to your point, when I got laid off in 2020 and I decided to take that whole rest of the year from like May to the end of 2020, I got a lot of
A lot of hate.
from my from personal family members
Wow.
because they're like, "Go back to title and escrow. What are you doing now? Like, why starting Cam Monkey? Go back and get a career. Like, go back to your career."
So
So that was
huge.
hard for me because I had come from something that I know I could do, but that's what the easy part was, is that I knew I could go back in title and escrow, and I knew I would succeed. And I also
I guess
thought,
that's a good point as a back end. You know what? If I fail, fuck it,
That
title
was
and
my
escrow is gonna be there.
that was my fallback, and I think because I had that, I was lucky. I didn't think of it as lucky, but that's how my thought process was going. Like I said, I was a delusionally optimistic person, so I was thinking, "Okay, look, I'm gonna go to another company and rebuild from scratch, and I'm gonna do it because I had done it before at Fidelity and North American Title and
Yeah.
WFG. I'll do it again, but what if I did that at Cam Monkey? I've never failed at anything in my life. Maybe I didn't keep going forward, but like, with the life insurance, I still have my license right now. I still sell it. It wasn't my main thing, but like, I've
Yeah.
never really failed at anything that I didn't think I could succeed in.
Hmm.
So that's why I went in with Cam Monkey, also knowing subconsciously I had title and escrow if I had to fall back,
Back.
if I
Yeah.
had to. But that's why I didn't want to. And even when in 2021, when I got that part-time or full-time job as in remote, it was like, "Ah, why am I doing this?" But like I had to. I wasn't making any money in Cam Monkey. All the money was going back into the company.
Yeah.
And so everything just worked exactly the way it
Still need
should
to
have.
pay bills, and you still
I
needed
d
to do.
I made some good money when I was in title and escrow. I saved a lot. I learned from my uncle in financial advising. I never thought I always had good years, so like I never thought the pandemic.
Ah,
But because of all that, I had life insurance policies. I had cash value in them. I did everything I was supposed to do. I
and
was
you probably
playing.
had some
I had
reserves.
reserves. I was day trading a lot, which I think everyone was during that time.
Yeah.
And I had enough money that
Could
I'm gonna get my
survive for
for
X amount.
2020. Yeah. And that's why when 2021 came up and that opportunity came up, it was like too good to be true. Because look, I can keep going through my own like money, or I can now get paid to do something I know I'm good at. It's remote, and I can still build Cam Monkey. So I took that job remotely. But I remember I was flying to Park City, opening up Park City and Cam Monkey, and still having meetings in the morning, and then meetings
With
at
your other job.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
They didn't know because I was always there. I was
Yeah,
always on
yeah,
it was
yeah. And it
remote,
doesn't matter as long as everyone's getting the
and
job done.
I was doing my job because I was good at what I did. I had
Oh,
the
yeah.
connections. But I think this is something important, but it's not, like, necessarily important. I was at a bachelor party of March of 18, and we were going to Tahoe, and this was, like, the first I could get my year of becoming an entrepreneur. And what it was we were on a bachelor party, we were taking a bus going to our Airbnb, and a buddy of mine was watching Billions, a TV show on Showtime. It's
Yeah,
about
I've seen it.
a billionaire who essentially invests in company and then manipulates it and gets it better and then sells it.
Yeah.
And when Cam Monkey came up, I remember, oh my god, this is my Bobby Axelrod moment. I can be like in billion, like I can
Okay.
invest in Cam Monkey
Yeah.
and I can influence it. And that was like the thought process. Like when I got into Cam Monkey, when I was still in title and escrow, it was, hey, business partner, you do operations, make sure the cans get to the curb, make sure that it gets done. I'll do the sales and marketing. I'll increase it. You make sure. That was the relationship.
Yeah.
All of 2018, all of 2019, and then 2020 is when we started scaling. And back when we talked about earlier,
Yeah, yeah.
if
Why don't
I'm
we
not
get
doing,
into why don't we
yeah,
get into that? So 2018, 2019, 2020, you're scaling. You realize you can be on this side of the game. Partner could be on this side of the game. Now, when did you say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and quit this, and now let's go in full time?
I would never have. I didn't get fired, and that's what's great. I
Really?
would
When
never
did you
have.
get fired?
May 20th, 2020, from
Wow.
WFG during the pandemic, and
Otherwise, you would have stood there.
I would have stayed still today. Why would I left? I
Yeah.
had a W-2. I had health insurance for my kids. I had
While
stock,
still building something on this on the side.
and it was just gonna be on the side. And I was thinking, look, if I made $2,000 a month from this eventually, that'd be great because I was already making money. I just wanted like extra little. It was never gonna be my
Yeah.
main thing. But not if the pandemic didn't happen. You can always look in retrospect things now. But if that didn't
Yeah.
happen, I wouldn't have been doing this. Cam Monkey wouldn't have been doing this. And I get asked now, would you do it again? No. Like it was the hardest thing growing Cam Monkey.
Was it?
It was the hardest thing. It's still hard, but it's like easier now.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
it's like doing thousands of stops a day, 11,000 stops a week. And it was harder when we had 100 stops because like it was Mark and I, my business partner, and
You guys are doing them,
we're
huh?
doing it. So
That's
it was
funny. I
harder.
think that's the back end that people don't see. Oh my gosh, these guys, Mark, Alex, they have X amount, 7,000 properties, different cities, got all these people. They're not pulling out cans anymore, but hey, it's 200,
Right.
150.
Right.
You just can't afford to pay anybody else to do it. You
No.
got to be out there and doing them yourself.
And what's cool now is that I'm a big believer in like helping others, givers gain. A beacon of light for those who can't see in the dark is like a mantra
Uh
that
huh.
I say. And now we're helping a lot of these people in this gig economy. We're paying over six figures a month to can runners, making sure that they get the cans to the curb and back. But that's us helping the economy. That's us helping
Yeah.
individuals looking for extra income, whether it's 20, 50, $60 a day or a couple $100 a week. It's really cool. But it started with us taking the cans to the curb
Let's talk about
ourselves.
keep going in with your starting process from whatever year till now, I want to see how that business grows,
Yeah.
your challenges, what you learned from
Yeah.
that. And then at the end, we'll talk about some things you could have tweaked, some things maybe
Yeah.
you would have changed. Let's go into that
I remember in
because
the
you're talking about
beginning.
100 cans or
Yeah,
whatever.
so I remember in the beginning. So in let me think about this real fast. So in 2020, it was a weird market, obviously, because the world was shutting down.
Yeah.
We had just gotten on our first major enterprise client. It was Turnkey, who now got bought out by Vacasa. They're not here anymore. But originally in the beginning, even when I got in 2018, 2019, 2020, that was all Arizona. We were just in Arizona.
And just marketing to homeowners
Just no, just like
or
and
Airbnbs.
when I came in, I started going after Airbnbs, vacation rentals, short-term rentals.
Were
I
you calling like property management companies or just anybody that owned an Airbnb?
So my back like how I've been able to grow everything is off LinkedIn.
Okay.
I love LinkedIn. If you don't use LinkedIn, if
I
you
don't.
you should. If you create a LinkedIn account right now, you're gonna be putting who you are, the company you work for, your title, your location, pertinent information like that.
Yeah.
So I reverse engineer everything in my life. So if I need to look for a cleaning company in Phoenix, I'm gonna put in CEO, cleaning, Airbnb, put all these keywords in. And if you're on LinkedIn, your name's gonna come up. I'm gonna read you're the owner. Hi owner. I've heard great things about your company. I want to reach out. Are you looking for a partner that can take your cans to the curb? This is
All
something that we can
right.
do
That's
for
what you're
you.
doing every day.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, so I did that all in the beginning while I was also going after real estate agents, while I was also going after people to sell life insurance policies to. I did the same thing. Who would I sell life insurance policies to? Business owners, executives, CEOs, people who have money. So what I do, I go to LinkedIn. Who am I looking for? CEOs. In what city? Phoenix. Hey, business owner, CEO, do you know that you can use life insurance policies as cash value and help you become your own bank? I already know that. I don't need you. Cool. I didn't know that. Want to have a meeting? Sure. It's the same thing you do in every process. You got to knock
Yeah.
on doors
Whether it's physically knocking,
or
calling,
whatever it is. So
messaging.
and that was me in the beginning. I'm just going to target audience, sniper, like individually people. Now where we're at is we market on door hangers, mailers. We have a route that we know that is bringing in 60% profit margins. I know if I add on 5 more properties within this 2 mile, I can go from 60 to 80% profit margins. So now maybe I'll send mailers to the nearest neighbors. And I go back to my real estate background. I pull data, I skip trace, I pull out the
Wow.
non-owner occupieds. I do everything I taught all these people to do in real
Yeah.
estate, I bring in my own life now. So like subconsciously, everything I
Isn't
had.
that crazy how God lines that up where it's you don't know where your end goal or where you're gonna end, but when you're going through these motions, going through different jobs, learning through this, learning through that, it sets you all up for where you're at now.
Yep.
And I think everybody listening to us needs to understand that if maybe if you're in a valley right now and you're like, I just hate my job or I don't like doing this. Maybe be grateful for number one, you have a job.
Yep.
But number two, hey, what am I learning from here?
Yeah.
And then it will maybe take you off to your next step when wherever you may go.
You're so right. You never know what's preparing you for the next thing. And sometimes what I found out for myself is like sometimes the worst thing that happens to you could be the best thing. And to our
Well, I
point,
like that.
like I got fired from my job, middle pandemic, 3 kids at the time.
Yeah.
Everything one relies on me. What am I gonna do now? Well, shit, I got this side gig that if I can get this up, if I can get this up to this many properties, then maybe I can take out $1,000. Okay. If I get this, maybe I can take out 2,000. Okay, now if I take 2,000, that can help me pay for this. And then, like you start like reverse engineering. And
Hmm.
so back to that now, like in March of 2020, we had just gotten this, or February, we had just gotten 70 properties on. And I think we had just increased
Wow.
over 30 or over 300 properties at this point.
Okay.
Pandemic happened. We had just lost those 70 properties. So we're like,
Okay.
oh shit, we're all done. We just finally got to 300. So after 2 years, 2.5 years, we get to 300.
That's a long time.
Side note, now we're adding like 600 a month now. So it took me, so like we're
You're
growing.
growing.
But that's what I remember in the beginning. Like it took forever. It took
Yeah.
forever.
And at this 300 mark, you're still going out there?
Oh, yeah, yeah, so, like, we were mainly in Scottsdale, and then I wanted it I live in Mesa, so I'm like, "We're gonna do Mesa," and my business partners, "We can't do Mesa, but there's not enough properties." I'll do them. This is in the beginning, but
Okay.
then also, like, we get that client that has 70 properties, they happen to have 8 in Mesa. We're doing them all. We
You
can't do
have to.
we have to. That's my thought process. My business partner, "No, we can't. I'll do them in Mesa."
You have no
But
choice.
then those
They're not
8
gonna hire somebody separate just
no.
for those 7 properties.
Exactly, and then they probably wouldn't give you the whole thing if you're
Nah.
not So, like, now, like, those 8 initial properties in the East Valley that we took on, like, now we have 500 properties. Like, we have over 3 we have 2,500 properties in the Phoenix area,
Okay.
3,000 probably in the whole state, including Tucson, Sedona, Flagstaff.
Okay. Out
But
there.
in the Phoenix market, this is our baby.
Bread
This
and
is where
butter.
yeah, this is where we started. And if you don't take on those properties, you can't expand. It's a song and dance.
When do you know when to hire? I think that's somebody, especially talking to these small business owners right now that are listening. You're going out there doing 300 and you guys are doing them yourself now. I feel like you can only grow so much until you realize, hey, like you said, the only way for me to grow is I got to take on more properties.
Yeah.
I take on 5 more hundred properties.
Yeah.
I can't do all those by myself.
No.
When did you guys know, hey, maybe it's time for us to get employees or whatever the case was? Walk us through that.
Yeah.
You lost these 70, you
Yeah.
lost these 70 that you just hit
Yep.
300. Where do we go from here?
So we lost them. We go back down to 210. I think it's all over. Now it's I think April. They bring them back on
Oh, okay.
because now the
Market came back up.
and now everyone knows the whole Airbnb industry, like 2020, 2021,
Booming.
booming. So also, like, unbeknown I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't know I was gonna go get fired, go all into a company. I also didn't know that trash was even an issue. Now I go to all these different conferences and people are like, "Oh my god, this is genius." And now I know that we're in all these markets, that they all need us, and there's no
Yeah,
other company doing it. So I didn't know that. It'd be easier now if I knew everything I knew now, because then I'd be like, "Oh,
of course. Yeah.
now after 5 years in it, there's finally light at the end of the tunnel." Now I'm like, "Oh my god, this is why I did it. This is great." Now we're getting offers to get bought out. Oh my god. We're doing like over, millions of dollars in revenue every year. Oh my
Yeah.
god, now it's a real business. In the beginning, you're doing what? Taking cans to the curb. And there's no one to bench this
Yeah.
off of. There's no one else
No.
doing this. So we couldn't say, well, yeah, look at that company over there. They have
Yeah.
10,000 properties. I want to get to 10,000.
It's like a buddy of mine, he started a poop removal company, and I thought it was the dumbest thing ever, and he's getting people paying him 45 to 60 bucks every month to go out there, and he just picks up once a week. If
Yeah,
they want more, it's more,
I know.
and I'm like, people aren't picking up their own. I just thought that was crazy because, I mean, I come from a Hispanic family. We got a dog. Your ass is getting out there and picking up
Yes.
that poop.
Yes.
So somebody's paying it, and they got kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
We're in this world of do it for me. Uber, Grubhub, Instacart, GoPuff, all these different
Yeah.
jobs out picker, poop picker upper is it do it for me. And
Save
that's
that time.
save the time, whatever it is. I have a dog at my house. I got 4 kids. No one picks up the dog poop. I'm the one that's doing it. And it gets to a point, okay, instead of my wife yelling at me every other Sunday about you haven't done it yet, what's $40? You start thinking about it like that. What's $40 or 45? Okay, someone comes to my house once a week and picks it. Oh, that sounds pretty nice.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't gotta worry about
so
it.
you start thinking, but if you don't know, and that our biggest issue is that no one knew that we exist. So
Okay.
once people know that you exist, now they can make a decision on that.
And
Do I need the
that's
can to
how you
curb?
grew.
That's how we grew. So once we get in, what I knew is that people who had multiple properties, they needed us. They just didn't even know it. So that's
Wow.
why it's like, hey, you had 25 properties. Do you need help with your trash cans? Yes. Cool. Can we help you? Yes. Can you give me your property list? Here you go. Okay, cool. And so also when we were scaling, you're right. You get to a certain point where it's like, Mark's not in the office anymore because he's running routes all day. He's getting tired. I'm getting burned out. Okay, let's take what route? How do we make a route for someone else?
Yeah.
So instead of you doing 100 properties a week, maybe you do 50 properties. Can we get those 50 properties in a good route? So we build a route. How's that look? And so the thought process was like,
How does that look, and how do you pay somebody
so
to
the
do
thought,
50 cans?
yeah, the thought process in the beginning, and we're not. This is not how it is because like now, like there's an algorithm that like,
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk
but
about that later. I
but
wanna
how it
go through.
was, the thought process was like, let's pay someone $20 an hour. Can they do 20 stops an hour? Let's pay them like $1 a stop. But that was an
Okay.
easy thought process. Okay, so here's our properties. Can we get all these? And then we do like Google Maps from this to that, this to
Yeah,
that, this
yeah.
to that.
See
'Cause
how
we didn't have
long it
a,
should take you.
and then that's what we did. Okay, it should take you 45 minutes to go from boom. Okay, now add 2 minutes for each service stop, 2 times 15, extra 30. So this is gonna take an hour. And then,
15.
hey, we'll pay someone like in the beginning, we started off at $17 an hour. We now went up, but you just start, you figure it out.
You also have to think, and this is my
Yeah.
thought process because I know someone's gonna ask
Yeah.
this. When I hear that, I'm thinking, who in the world is just gonna work for 1 hour a day
Yeah.
for 20 bucks?
Yeah. Um,
Like, we need somebody that's gonna be full time.
yeah.
Nobody wants to be.
So that's where the people's thought process goes to, and they don't know there's a gig economy.
Okay.
And there's some people that only want to work 1 to 2 hours a day. There's some people that maybe are doing Grubhub, Instacart, Uber Eats,
Uber Eats.
and maybe they're doing those other things, but they're just not making enough. And you're right, one route is not, that enticing,
It's not.
especially $17. But what we do is we're able to give them multiple routes. If that, we pay them every day, or we used to pay them 3 days a week. But then you add it up, and this is the cool thing. Like we're not just giving them one route; they're giving that same route every week. They can get another route. So now it's one route on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now you're making an extra $125 that week for working 5 hours. That's times four, making
Yeah.
$500. That's your,
Side cash
that's your
money.
rent. That's your car payment. And now you're
Yeah.
doing these other jobs that at least
Entertainment money or
right now
something.
Cam Monkey's giving me $500 a month to take some cans to the curb. That's not bad.
And I think it's also what's cool about that is going back to that gig economy. People got wore out of being a Uber driver
Yep.
or a Lyft driver. I know I did it for a little bit and it was great side cash.
Yep.
And people were in my
Yep.
car. Then, especially when COVID hit, people were like, "Oh my god, walls were up in
Yep.
Ubers.
Yep.
People were wearing gloves." So with this, it's just you, and I think that's why at Grubhub and Uber Eats they do so well because I know people that are like, "I would love to do something like this, but I have kids."
Yep.
They're like, "Okay, put your kids in the back, have them watch your iPad while you put the Grubhub
Yep.
food in the front seat, and
Yep.
you go take it."
Yeah, and what we found also about that is that we were talking earlier. We only do single family housing. So what we've heard about like Grubhub and Uber Eats is that they have to go to an apartment complex. They got to find the property. It
It's
takes them a lot
true. Take a
longer.
little bit of
They go
time.
they go to the restaurant. The food's not ready. They're waiting. So you're not counting how long you're waiting for your drive time, looking for this place. And with us, we're
It's
saying
a
this is
good
going to
point.
take you
2
40. It's
minutes
going to take you 45 minutes to do 18 stops, and you're getting paid $26.
for sure.
Do you want it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And is that how you started your original model?
essentially.
Right when you realized, "Hey, we have to hire somebody," you knew from the start that, "Hey, we're gonna pay somebody this,"
Yeah.
and then that's it?
Yeah, so, like, essentially, like, how it started is, like, my brother was, a fraternity president here in ASU, so, like,
Okay.
things just worked out the way they're
Always
supposed to.
does.
So, it was, like, May of, 2019, and this is, like, when I was still doing part-time, and he was helping he was at the office with his frat brothers, and at first, when we started expanding, like, we had some properties, they were doing them. I was like, "Oh, this is great. Let's get fraternity brothers in every market. This will be great." And then they all graduate, and you're like, "Oh my god, I
Oh,
gotta start
shit.
over again. Yeah, this is not
They got
gonna
a real
work.
job now.
Yeah, it's not gonna work." But in the beginning, we were able to work with them, and we say, "Okay, this is gonna take you an hour and 15 minutes, and we'll pay you $22 for or $25, whatever it is." But what they would do is, like, they would do it, and, like Mario, when you did, like, the Mario game and you played it, then, like, you had a ghost and you're trying to beat your last score.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how they are. So, yeah, it takes me an hour and 20 minutes, but I'm gonna do this in an hour and 10. I'm gonna do this in an
'Cause they're
hour.
still gonna get paid the same
They
amount of
still get
money.
paid the same. So, like, we might pay them an hour and a half to do it, but they're getting it done in an hour. Because it doesn't take them 2 minutes, it takes them 30 seconds, and they know the shortcut
And if
now.
the route is getting faster, you
And if
do
it
something, you're gonna get it
yes.
faster
Yes.
eventually.
So that's how we were in the beginning, and now where we're at with our technology and our own application, now it's all built out exactly. So we do drive time, stops per route, all this is accounted for. So if there is a bad route, you're making X amount of money. If it's a good route, you're still making X amount of money. At one point, we just got you get to a point where, like, you know what, at any cost, just get the routes done because that's what we're getting paid to do. And ultimately, if I don't take the cans to the curb on the right day, now you're left with excess cans. And now I'm gonna be called a
I could
liar.
eliminate you.
Yeah, now I'm gonna be called.
You're not doing what you told me to do, that you were
So
gonna do.
now I'm gonna get fired. Now I have to give them back money. Now I have to go pay for on-demand trash removal. Now, like, my margins that were very small are now gone because now I gotta go get 1-800 junk to go. As much as it's an easy concept, there's a lot of variables. So if I'm doing like 11,000 stops in a week, we're not making any mistakes. If we do, it's like one-offs where it's like
Yeah.
a new can runner maybe couldn't get into the backyard because they didn't realize the gate was janky. Maybe we had a can runner on there for the last couple of weeks that understood they got to lift. Like, some people try a little bit harder than others. We're still dealing with humans at the end of the day. Even by giving
Yeah.
perfect instructions, not everyone still something. So, like, but still to have a 99.6% accuracy rate
It's
across
pretty
50,000
huge.
stops, but even that 50,000 stops, there's still issues on a
There
couple,
always
a lot
will
of,
be.
and
There
there
always
are.
will be.
And what we did was that application that we built.
Why don't you
It,
talk about that? Why don't
yeah,
we talk about from okay, you were hiring the fraternity runners.
yep,
You realize they got to go get a real job.
yep.
So then, how can you now scale when these guys are gone? What made you guys realize, hey, we need to find more permanent solution employees?
Yeah.
And how did you guys go that route?
So the biggest issue is always like not having enough can runners at one point, and I'd be like, all our problems would be solved if I just had a pool of can runners. If I get, if you're supposed to do this route and you called me at 3 o'clock, I can't do it. Okay, crap. Who's gonna do it now? Okay, as long as I had a pool of can runners, it was never a problem. And I got really good at one point where like I wore every hat. I was hiring can runners. So I would figure out I could get a can runner on the same day to go do a route. Would get things done. But then it's, look, I'm gonna hire. I want someone just to hire can runners. So then I'm like, I got to bring someone in W-2, or how does that look? And you just figure it out. But our end goal was to always have enough can runners. How do you find them? Facebook ads, Craigslist ads, book groups. We would get like very targeted. Like we're in Park City. I would go to like Park City High School, Park City Church, look at people who are in Park City in these Facebook groups, anyone looking to make extra income. They got really in, and so you get to figure these things out in the beginning. So when you're
Yeah.
going to other people, tell them these systems and process, what's your SOP? But we did realize that we were limited with the technology that we had, and it wasn't our own. It was off the shelf apps. It was apps that were for businesses, but not our business. There was nothing for ours. I think the closest app that we could have probably used would be like a pool route, put a property in. But even that, like I had to take a can to the curb one day. The next day, I got to take the can back. Day. Also, it's like some of these areas. Look at our map as a large. It could be like there's a route right here. All these properties are right next to each other, really condensed. There's a road right here that these properties go out on Monday. These properties go out on Tuesday. So like now, some you might be taking half. You have 20 stops. 10 cans are going to the curb. 10 cans are coming back. So it's not all just cookie cutter. All these
It's
cans are going
true.
out. So it's like everything was changing. So it's like I don't have an app for that. I don't have a when we went to Austin, Texas, recycling is every other week. They don't
Oh,
have,
that's different.
that's different. You go to Florida, they have 2 trash days a week. How do I implement so like there's all these things that started coming up. I need my own technology. Once again, everything happens exactly how it's supposed to happen. One of my buddies I had brought on and hired, his best friend's older brother was an app builder and had just
Perfect.
just was getting not let go, but his company was getting bought out. He's I don't want to go through this. He like left. We reached out literally his first day of unemployment and said, "Hey, can you help us like build an app?" Because I got free time, and we're like, "Okay," and put him to work, and he built this phenomenal app, which
Is it an app that only you guys use, or you guys
it's
put it on the app?
ours. No, it's ours.
Do you put it on the Apple Store for other people to, like,
No,
buy
it's
or
only ours.
for Can Monkey?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's on the Apple Store and Google Play for our can runners to download.
Got it. Okay.
And then for our clients, they use like app.cammonkey. It's not like on the App Store, but it's like a
Different
yeah,
service.
it's like a website,
Okay.
but
I
it's
just
like
didn't know if you guys were like you were using those third-party
yeah,
sites. I didn't know if you had built your app for other companies to mimic it.
no, it's a thought process out
Okay.
there. Yeah, because one of those things like
You already have the software
I already
built.
have the software built, I give you the app, now you're able to use it.
Implement in your own
Right
with your own
now,
business,
right.
whatever it
The
is.
only thing that I feel would be I don't see an issue with it because I'm biased, obviously, but I would like it also because, like, say you're trying to do the same job or same thing as I am, and I don't care. Abundance, go do it. I'm the only one right now, not me, the company, that's getting the word out there that there's a can to curb service. We
Yeah.
when we started Cam Monkey, we did the trademarks
It's a
and
huge
copyright.
need, and not a lot of people know about it.
No one knows about it, and when we did the trademarks and copyrights, they actually created a category can to curb for us.
No
So
way.
we
That's
own we
huge.
own Can Runner, Can Monkey, all these different terms. We own all those stuff because we're the only ones doing it. So now if anyone comes
Wow.
into this marketplace, which there has been, and they took the name Can Runner because they saw us, we sent them a cease and desist. Can't do that. I can do that. No, you can't because you're in our market.
Yeah.
Like I can start.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Why not why not franchise Can Monkey? Why did you guys decide to go the route that you went? Because I know a lot of people
yeah,
listening, again, we speak to everybody. Why not say, "You know what? I already built it here. I could just sell everything I built here, sell to Austin,
yeah,
sell it to here,
yeah,
sell it here, now make your royalties every month, and
yeah,
now not have to deal with your headache of managing your employees in Austin or your can
yeah.
runners in Austin," or whatever the case may be.
Because we don't need to. I mean, it's a simple question because like we don't need to. I'm handling it all from here. So it's I don't need a. That's how the model works. Why doesn't Uber do franchises? They don't need to. They are managing everything from their application.
Airbnb.
They don't need to. So I don't need to. If I want to make some extra income, I probably could sell some franchises and get fifty
Yeah.
thousand dollars here and there. But now they do a shitty job. Now it's reflecting me.
Still your name.
It's still my name,
Yeah.
and it's
That's good.
and
I
I
guess
don't
control too.
and I don't need them. There's nothing that they're gonna bring to the table that
No value for you.
and then I'm not saying that in a cocky way. And if someone's like,
Business matter.
if someone said to me, "Hey, are you in New Hampshire?" I'm not. I got 2,000 properties I want to bring on, but I want
I'll be in
let's
New Hampshire tomorrow.
let's do it.
Yeah,
If it's, hey, I think this is a great idea. I want to open a franchise. Can you help me? Then I'm doing everything the
for
same.
you.
Yeah,
What
and now I'm
value?
splitting the profits with you.
I could
Like
just do it
I can
myself.
just do it myself,
Yeah,
and no one's going to
it's
you.
true
They're gonna go to me for Cam Monkey,
because you built the name.
the brand.
Yeah.
So that's what we have.
Okay.
But it's definitely been a thought process, and we get asked all the time, and we're not opposed to it. I think it'd be more. I would be more open if it was like in Canada or Australia or a country that like I don't know the currency, I
Yeah.
don't know the rules and legislation,
I'll
all
let
that.
them run that.
Let them run that.
You just get your
But in
royalty.
the States, when I'm already like in
You're already
20,
here.
I don't need to. And I hate saying that because I would love to, but I think if anything, it'd be opening up the application
I
to
think that
other
would be the
people.
best. Yeah.
And also, look, if you do it, you have 100 properties on there, and then you're like, no, I can't do this anymore because you're not making money or whatever. I have that information on the application that I own, and do you want me to buy that from you, or are you just giving up? And I already have all that data on there.
It's true.
So that's like kind of the bias part where like
I
I
like
don't,
that.
I like it too.
No, that makes
That's why
sense.
I would do it. So
Yeah,
I
no,
would
no, that makes sense. I didn't even think of it that way.
yeah, so
So
that's
today you're in how many states?
23.
23 states. I think what I want everybody to know is you have, I'm going to say no W-2 employees because maybe you got a couple,
We
but
do. We have 5.
okay. 5 W-2 employees.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yeah.
5 W-2 employees in 23 states. How in the world are these cans getting picked up? Explain it because this is huge for people.
We built the systems and processes. It's a technology. It's the same in every market.
You are the Uber
Trash.
of trash.
Yes, we automate trash day. And as long as we have a route that's already built, you're adding a property onto a route that's already built that just makes it more condensed, which helps our profit margins even better.
Yeah.
So nothing else changes. Unless you're giving me a property that's not in all these properties go out on Tuesday and you have one on Monday. I can't do that. And I'm okay to say no with people.
Now,
Now, even in markets that don't behoove us. Hey, I got 15 properties. Can you guys come? Do you know anyone else in the market? And this is how we've grown in other markets where I told someone I can't do it for 15, but if you know anyone else, and they're like, ask a competitor. I said, I don't really see it as a competitor, more like a collaborator. If you have this issue, maybe they have this issue. And like, well, thanks for nothing. All right, sorry. 2 weeks later, hey, I found 2 more companies. I got you 50 properties. Can you come now? Yeah, thank you. So you got
just
15. This
create
guy
your own
had 15.
business
This
for
guy
you.
got, and he just brought me another
Oh
30,
wow.
35 properties.
It makes sense. Their solutions there, whether you were there or not, their problem still is there.
And what we found out is that, and people will say, I can't do it with my 15, so you can't do it either. Like, that's a good point. But I probably couldn't do it with your 15, but I don't just have your 15. I have your 15, they're 20, they're 30, these 40. I have 100. So your 15 is part of other 85 properties that now I'm building a route on a massive scale, volume. And the fact that I can keep a $49 monthly price across the board is because I got 7,000 properties. So Phoenix, we're killing it here. Our profit margins in some of these Scottsdale areas are huge, like 89, 90%.
Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're usually all on the same day.
Yep.
They're all within X amount of miles.
Yep.
So you can get all the cans picked up in a certain amount of time
Yep.
without having to hire somebody else.
Yeah, you got basic math. If we're charging $50 a month, we're going to your property 12 times a month, $4 a visit. If I can pay someone $1, I'm making like 75% profit margins right from there. Just basic math.
Yeah,
So,
basically.
so then say I add another property on, now it's going to 80. Now I add another property
More
on.
properties, all you're doing is adding a more route to
and
the
I'm paying
route.
someone already the same amount for that property. So they're giving you maybe
That's
just
huge.
2 minutes.
I like it. Have you had, now with your model, because I'm super intrigued, have you had hard time finding the can runners? As far as, because I'd imagine you probably, like you said, you put it on the Facebook group, put it on Craigslist, hey, become a can runner. Like nobody's heard of that term. Have you had trouble with people actually working?
In
I don't
the
know.
in the
If that's
beginning.
even the right word.
Yeah, in
But
the beginning, for sure. From what you just said right there, and
yeah.
in the beginning when we weren't on the Apple Store and Google Play, and I'm finding you on Facebook, and I'm saying, hey, what takes mechanics to curb? Download this app.
Who are you?
You're like, yeah, what is this? But now they go to the Apple Store. They have to go onto
You
the
seem
app.
legit
We
now.
seem legit. So in the beginning, like I said, like if I'm getting you off a Facebook ad, if I'm getting you off like a Craigslist, and then I'm saying, oh, download this app off the App Store. Then
You're a
I
scammer.
need you to get Slack downloaded. I need you to now have Waze. I need you to They're downloading, and that's why like, I can't believe we were able to scale
With just using that still.
because that didn't make any sense. Like
When you were using that, before you did your app, how many customers did you have?
thought we were genius when we were doing that. I'm like, look, I put all these things together. Look at my tech stack. This is
Yeah.
great. And then it's no, it's horrible. We're using 4 apps in one phone, and but they were still doing it. But even at that point, I don't necessarily know the number, but I do know that we had 1,000 properties before we hired our first W-2 employee, Mark and I.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 987 properties. And I finally,
And you were doing them still that same method,
and
just
this
through
was,
the
yeah,
Craigslist, Facebook, all
yeah,
that.
and his name is James, my operations manager now, and he came on January 24th, 2022. So I remember 2021 Thanksgiving. I was in Ohio. I was in Montana for Christmas that year, and at that point, my business partner would bump heads a lot, and we're perfect as business partners in bumping heads. Even that, it's really the yin and yang. Definition of entrepreneurship is jumping off the cliff and building an airplane while you fall.
Yeah.
And that's me. And we're tied together with a rope, and he's still on that cliff saying, "Wait, I don't have the right bolt." I'm like, "Fuck you, we're coming." And so we're
Yeah.
perfect. But in that same aspect, like when I'm ready to go do something, hey, we're going to Austin.
Let's
Whoa.
look at it.
And I'm like, what do you want to look at? Boom, boom. I've already thought of it all. And he
It's the
goes,
same system.
but then he's, oh no, but you have to have that guy that dots your I, cross your T. Even though
Yeah.
I think I've already done them all, it's still nice to have
He still
someone.
finds them.
Yeah. And what I learned is a lot of that myself about even in my I've gone like through therapy and I've learned things about myself and like different things, which has helped me even communicate better with my business partner. But I would take like that as like an insult. Like I've built business before. I hadn't built business. I built like other people's businesses in real estate. I worked for W-2, but he had background in what he so I realized like he does know what he's talking about. Like I come from Fortune 500 companies that already have
All
cash
that built.
flow already built. I say, "Hey, I gotta take this guy out to the Suns game. Here's $500. Okay, cool. Put on your expense report. Okay, cool." You don't think about it. But now
No,
you talk to the
no.
guy who's like the money guy, and oh, I'm gonna go do. Oh, we can't. What do you mean we can't? Mine is my thing is like
Yeah.
always find an answer. So what do you need for me to do this? You're gonna need to get 10 properties signed up, for whatever. Okay, done. Like I'll do it right now. Don't tell me I can't do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that's like how we work together. But we got to 987, and we had some other people that he brought in to help us, and it was like just family, friends, and they didn't care. And I was the face of the Cam Monkey. I'm the one that's selling everyone. I'm Cam Monkey at this point. Like now Cam Monkey's like a brand and it's gotten
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah,
bigger
yeah.
than me. But in the beginning it was me. I'm calling you. I'm saying this is what we're gonna do. And we didn't do it. Who are you calling?
You.
Me. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's not me doing it. So then I would go to him. Like, what the hell's going on? So I got to a point where I said, like, basically gave him an ultimatum, like, "I'm gonna go start my own stuff, or we're gonna do this the right way because I can't have these people do this, and it makes me look bad, and I'm not doing this anymore. It's hurting my mental health. I don't like this. I need to do something." So, like, I put on all the hats, and I remember it was, like, probably for 3 months, but I remember vividly, it was when I was in, like, Thanksgiving to Christmas, that time, and we had 1,000 properties, and I was doing the hiring of can runners, or bring them onboarding of can runners. I was bringing on the new properties. I was doing still routes in Mesa. I was still traveling. I was still,
1,000 properties and you're still running
oh
routes.
yeah, yeah, in Mesa.
Wow.
If it didn't work out, I had to do
You
it.
had to do
I
it.
had to do it, and also we had to pay someone to do it. So I would rather keep that money not for myself, but back in the
And
company. That's how we built the whole thing. Like I didn't make any money from Cam Monkey for 4 years. We just started making money in like the last year. Like my business partner and I, like we built.
start taking your own draws and
Yeah,
stuff,
like
of
our
course.
application, like we just got verbal. We built it and it's phenomenal. But we built it for, I don't even want to say the number, but not what it should be.
Yeah, yeah.
We got really lucky with this guy, and from what I've told, we should have 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 different software engineers, and each engineer is like 150 to $180,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
So, and we built this in less than 2 years. So from that alone, you're telling me I should have 10 people that have been paying $100,000 each for 2 years. So it
Yeah.
should be like a two,
$2
3 million.
million
Yeah,
project.
and that's not what we did. So I know we've been very scrappy in
Yeah.
everything we have, and our prices the way they are. So now when there are competition coming in, where are they putting their prices at? Cam Monkey's prices. What are Cam Monkey's prices? Cam Monkey's prices for Mark and I is something that we just made up. This is $49 at
Yeah,
volume. So
at
now you're gonna come
volume.
into a market that we're already in, trying to compete with us, probably go lower than 49.
You're
We're
not
not
gonna
making any
make
money.
any
And
money.
I don't feel bad, but it's just like I want to tell them like raise your prices higher so I can raise my prices higher.
Yeah, in a way,
But in the
yeah.
same way, I'm like, I don't need to raise my prices higher because now I got the volume. And now like
That's true.
in Florida,
Because yours is just volume now.
it's just volume. And why do I not want franchises? Because everything's coming into Arizona. Everything's coming into one account. It all looks like it's all coming into one house.
That makes
It's not
sense.
like, okay, there's 1,000 properties over here, pay Bob. It's all internal. Our can runners are all getting paid from our headquarters here in Tempe. All of our recruiting is done in the headquarters of Tempe. And how we track them is the application. We send them out messages to confirm. And now we have about 60 routes a week that we are completing.
760 a week, and you're adding on 600 a month on average?
Last month we had 575, yeah. And this we'll be averaging our goal this year is to average 625 for the whole month. That's just our goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And last year we were at like 219.
And I think what was cool about your thought process on everything you've done is you're reversing it. You're reverse engineering it because I think as a business owner, everyone's problem, a buddy of mine told me this past weekend, when you're a business owner, every problem is finding business. You knew that wasn't going to be the problem. You knew the problem was going to be who the hell is going to take care of the business. So you reversed it. You said our main priority should be finding can runners. Because then, once you got a pool of them, I add on 600 a month. Easy. Easy. All we're doing is now adding these to this person's route.
You're right. And we have, and as long as you are communicative with them and let them know, hey, this is a gig economy. We're not offering, like, we're not promising you.
And that's what the term is called, gig economy.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
that's what I'm asking. I just never heard it.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
I had no idea that there was a gig economy.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to find
I
people
didn't know
that are
there's
going
a
to do
term.
this?
I didn't know it was a term.
I didn't know either. Like, how are we going to find? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think sometimes I have a really good friend of mine that the term analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't think of anything. I just
You
know.
just roll with
I
it.
just roll with it, and it's gonna come. I'll figure it out. And like, how you
Good
say,
and bad.
it's good and bad, but I see problems as coming up with solutions. I don't see problems. I just every time there's a problem, good. I'll come up with a solution, and that's why like
It's just a little hiccup.
when people come to me with problems, I hate it. It's ick because I'm like I'll tell them. It's even my wife. She'll say something like, "Hey, are you looking for a solution or are you just venting?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. Vent."
So that way I can sit here.
I can sit here. But
mine's going.
But I want to solve. Oh, I can solve this for you. I'll just keep my mouth
Yeah,
shut. Okay.
yeah.
But it's like that's just how I go.
That's
I,
funny.
I like to solve people's problems. I don't like people hurting. I don't like people like doing bad. Like, how do I help you? Like, I'm just a giver. Like, I just naturally
like that.
am. Like, what do you need help with? I can help you. You make an introduction to this person. I can make an introduction. What is it? That's just who I am.
And I think that's another reason why your business has just grown. The minute people try to hog it all and just
No.
want it all, you don't get nothing. You don't meet those connections. You
No.
don't. You give, everything just comes right back to you.
That's really what it is, and that's what we've been able to build a business on. It's just like doing like under promising, over delivering. And the cool thing about Can Monkey is that yeah, it's an easy concept. For trash recycling on separate days, we're at your property 16 times a month. 16 times a month for $49. But at that point, I'm at your property so much that you get relying on us. So you're seeing us all the time. So even if I mess up one time, you're like, oh, you didn't come last week. 15 times. Come on, but it's at that one time. So like, even having that in the very beginning helped us while we scaled.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, 2 times a week.
Yeah. So 4 times a week, 16 times a month.
Yeah.
So like in the beginning,
Now when you see that price of 50, it's like
better,
50?
right?
Here you go.
And so now, not that we're going to do it, but now it's if I wanted to make more revenue, I have all these options of how to upsell. Oh, you have a different trash day. Oh, you have extra trash cans. Oh, you have
That's how the poop service does it,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, I'm already here, but you have 2 dogs.
right.
So
There
now
you
I'm
go.
picking up double.
There you go.
Or, hey, you got 3 dogs.
There you go.
Do you want me to leave it in your trash can over the 2-day span?
Yep.
Or do you want me to take it?
There you go. So like we go in with the 40, starting at 49 for the first recycling can. I got 3 trash cans. Oh, $5 extra. So like
You're already there.
49. Yeah, we're already there, and they need it.
They're
And most
not going to tell you no.
and they're not there for the most part. They're like in Washington State, but have a property here.
Yeah. That's 40% of our market here is vacationers, second home people.
And that's what it is. And with us, the technology has literally helped us because, and not to put cleaners on blast or anything, but not that they do anything bad, but we get a lot of tattles on cleaners, but not necessarily on purpose. It's more like we go to property, take the can back in, emptied. The cleaners are just leaving that same day. They fill it up, and they're like, "Oh, cans are filled." And I get a call like, "You guys weren't there." That doesn't make sense. Let me look into this. Oh, we were there. We took the can
Take the
back.
picture. This.
Did anyone check out after that? Oh yeah, we did check out. Okay. So sometimes the cleaners are the last ones there, and
Yeah.
then they don't let us know, or they don't let the client know that they put trash in there.
I know
And
with
so now
just the
it's-
properties we manage and clean, turnovers are usually Sundays and Mondays. Trash day in Scottsdale is Monday.
Yeah.
We go on Monday. If we're there early enough, we'll make it to pull out the trash can.
Yeah.
If not, that trash is sitting there for a whole week.
and say you're there on time, say the trash can to the curb, who's taking it back? And so that's what we found is that everyone has a system or solution. It's probably 50% to 75% at best. And with Cam Monkey,
50.
yeah, that's usually what it is. Oh, the guests are going to do it. Oh, who's going to take it back? Oh, the cleaner's going to do it. Who's going to take it back? You're going to have the cleaner now go back after they just cleaned
No,
all day long. They're not
we
going to
won't
do it.
go back.
So that's our biggest referral sources are cleaners because they just don't want to do it. Although do it eventually to get the business. They're like, all right, this is not even worth it
Doesn't make
anymore. It doesn't make
sense.
sense. We're not doing it. And so that's what really helps us. So they don't tattle on us, but it just happens in a way like that
Yeah.
where it
No, it
just
makes
like it's not their fault either. It's just
and
like
there's just so many aspects of a business that little things have to be taken care of that people don't see.
no,
Everyone sees the most out of your everything that happens in an Airbnb thing everybody sees about and that everybody talks about on TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is. I own X amount of Airbnbs and I make X amount of
yeah,
money. Why? Because it's sexy.
yeah, it's
That's
true.
it.
It's true.
Do you ever hear somebody saying, "Hey, I clean 10 Airbnbs?" You see anybody saying, "I take out HVAC filters for a living?"
Yeah,
No, that's a service we add.
yeah,
Do you hear anybody saying, "Hey, we take out cans for a living?"
yeah,
No, because it's not sexy. And I
right.
think this is crazy again how all this happens because I was having this conversation with my buddy. He does a demo and plumbing company. And he said, in the next 5 years, right now, there's 5,000 plumbers exiting the business and 1,000 plumbers entering the business a year. When you hear that, he said, in 5 years, I'm going to be able to charge whatever I want. And it makes sense because the kids in our generation, I asked my nephew what he wants to be when he grows up. He wants to be a gamer
Yeah,
on Twitch.
yeah,
Have you ever heard someone say, "Hey, I want to go be a plumber again?"
no,
Because it's not sexy.
yeah,
And it's kids are smart. We can say that they're lazy or whatever, but they're smart. Why go bust your ass in labor when you could work from home playing your video game and make 40,000 bucks a
yeah.
year?
It's true.
And I think that's another reason why you've been able to excel so much, but you were able to do it in a way where the competition just wasn't there. And I think you're able to do it when you see the bigger picture of
Yeah,
things. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, and you're right. And not there was no competition there because we were the ones that doing it. And I always would hope that there was,
Yeah.
because I like look at someone
It
else.
also gives you confirmation of, hey, there is a business of by doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think the more now I definitely know because we've been doing it for long enough, and there's people now doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think maybe like one or two that are in two different states, but for the most part, but
It's
no,
all you.
yeah, like no one's doing. I don't think anyone has over.
Volume you
Yeah,
guys
no,
have.
I don't think anyone has over 1,000 properties. I
That's
don't think anyone has
crazy.
over 500 to be honest.
Wow.
Because I know all the pain points. And
Yeah.
there's pain points at 100, there's pain points at 300. And I met this guy who called me in Austin. He had a couple, I think he had 200 properties. And he was just trying to see what we were valued and see if I wanted to buy him. I'm like, oh, okay. What's your price? What do you want to pay? Well, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, because I wouldn't pay what you're going to want because I have all the systems and solutions. I don't need anything you built. I'm going to use my own technology that you don't have.
Don't really need
And
you.
I don't need you at all. And your prices are lower than what I'm paying. So if I got your prop clients, I'm just gonna charge them more anyway. So like,
Maybe they'll leave me.
I don't want to buy you.
Yeah.
And how many do you have? I have 250. That's great. How long did that take you? 2 years. Oh, great. That's about the same time that it took me to get to that number.
And I'm getting 600 a month now.
But now you're right, and but again, if we didn't have the technology, we would never been able to do what we're doing right now.
Yeah. I think
And
that's
that's
huge.
the biggest
Creating those systems.
that's the biggest difference. And even the technology we had before, it was working, but not well.
And you reinvested it.
And yeah, it was not working well. It's like our technology now. It's like
Let's talk about it.
yeah,
Let's talk about the lessons now. So we talked about your journey. We talked about your story. You just are hitting now on the technology.
yeah,
If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be able to get here. Let's talk about as your, I wouldn't say myths. I would say the question probably you get a lot. If you could start all over again, maybe you're talking to a new business owner, starting a new company, maybe an existing business
mhm,
owner that's having trouble growing.
mhm.
What are some lessons? And I know that's a pretty vague question, but maybe the top three lessons that you would say to these people of what to do, what you did wrong, maybe how you could have done better.
In can the curb or
Mm,
in general in business.
say in general business.
Like I was gonna say in can the curb, I'd say don't do it.
Yeah,
And I keep saying that not to get people out of it. It's just it's hard.
I would say in
In the
general
margins.
business.
In general business, like you said earlier, I'm a big reverse engineer, and figure out why are you trying to get into business? What are you trying to do? Is it because you're not happy with your W-2? Do you not have a W-2? Are you trying
What
to
if you just want to make fucking money?
then reverse engineer? How
Okay.
much money are you trying to make? Be very specific.
So that's huge right now.
Yeah,
Follow your passion. Do this. Fuck it. I don't know what my passion is,
no,
but I know
true.
I got 3 kids and I got to make
Yep.
X amount of money.
So, a smart goal, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. Have a reverse engineer that. So if you're
Okay.
like, you know what, I got W-2, it pays me 60 grand a year, but I want to make 100 grand. I want to make $40,000 extra. Okay, if you're gonna make $40,000 extra in a year, what's that broken up to? Divide by 12. Okay, I'm gonna need to bring in $1,250 a month. Okay, how would you bring that in? Okay, so I'm doing life insurance. I know that each say I sold $1 million term policy or $1 million whole life policy, that pay me $3,500. Okay, great. So that's just one deal a month. Okay,
I got to do one deal a month.
I gotta do one deal a month. Okay, now I'm gonna do that one deal a month, but now I gotta do the work. Okay, now I'm gonna do LinkedIn. Now I'm gonna do Facebook. Now I'm gonna do
Now,
how many calls? How many?
20 calls maybe convert to 5 appointments
Yep.
that then only turned into one deal.
So then I know for every 20 times I call someone, I'll get 5 meetings, and out of those 5 meetings, I'll close one, and that's the number I'd have. Now I know if I'd have 40, I get 10, and I get two. I 80, and I learned that from my real estate buddies.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the same thing.
All the
All
wholesalers.
the wholesalers know your metrics, know your numbers of the
KPIs,
business, all
KPIs.
that. So it's funny. I go into business now, and I'm like, "What the hell's a KPI again? What the hell's SOP again?" Because I never had to do that in title and escrow. I was a business
Yeah.
consultant. Like I ran a business that was my business, but really, like I'm not doing the title and escrow. My escrow
No.
officers are. I'm not.
One aspect of
I'm
the
just one
business.
aspect. So now, in your actual business, you got to run all those things, and that's really important. So, but still, it's know what you need to make the money that you want to make. I want to make $10,000 a month, and I'm going to sell this thing for $500 a piece. You got to sell a fucking shit ton of those. So, like, how many? How are you going to
Yeah.
sell all those?
Like yours, $50 a month. If
But
your number was X amount,
but then again, real estate was my background. So in title and escrow. So Ben and Philip, like they're real estate agents. I was trying to get their business always. But say they were selling 12 homes a year. I'd have one real estate agent that gave me one deal a month, you know, or I can go to an investor who's doing 10 deals a week. Right. So it's work smarter, not harder. So I'd rather go after one investor like a Doug Hopkins or Chris Iman that was doing 10, 50, 20 deals.
they got to do their business anyway.
They have to do the business anyways. Maybe it's volume. Maybe they're getting a little bit lower,
Maybe even if you give them a discount,
and we give them an investor discount. So there's these things in place.
because either way, it's still going to add up to more than that one
Yes,
that you were chasing.
yes,
Maybe they do 5 to equal your one, but they're
yes,
bringing you 10.
yes. And so then, like maybe I had always had more orders than everyone, but maybe someone had a higher fee for file because they were doing like Desert Mountain area, and
Yeah.
But really, I always had the orders. And then from there, it's who are you working with? Oh, I'm working with some top dogs. Okay, I go have a meeting with someone new, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to work with you. I need help with X, Y, Z. Oh, want to have a meeting with my business or one of my clients? Do you know this person? Oh my God, do you know that person? Let me make an introduction. Now I'll introduce you to someone that's going to help you with your business. Your
S-
business is going to grow.
Made
My business.
yourself look so much higher
So I did
here.
that same thing. So I
Credibility.
do the same thing in what I'm doing now.
Okay.
I work smarter, not harder.
Explain it.
Why go after homeowners and
Okay.
call 20 homeowners, get one property to sign up,
I call a property manager that has
get 20
100.
yes. So now that company is actually a great company.
But before you call that, and I want to point this
Yeah.
out because people are going to take that and be like, "Oh, great, that's smart."
Yeah.
I think they're missing the first part though.
Right.
Let's say I gave you 100 properties.
Yeah.
Can your infrastructure handle those 100
Mm.
properties? Because if you don't have your systems,
Yeah.
like you said, you can't handle those 100.
Yeah. You're right. And I never like to say no. Let me look into it. Let me see what I can do. And so I'd be like, oh, you have the 100 properties? Can you send that over to an Excel sheet? Sure. Now I got your 100 properties. Now I put them in. I get all the pertinent information, service days, gate lock, garage code, where the can's located. I get all that information. I put that old school. I put that in MapQuest, whatever. See what it looks like. One property out here, one property out here, 80 right here. Okay, great. Look, I can do these 80 for sure at a really good discount. I can do these other ones, but I'm not like do on-demand trash removal because I can't do it. Might be a little bit more expensive. I'll take care of all these for X amount of dollars. Okay, great, cool. Or actually, no, I don't care about those ones. I already have a solution already in place. So let's just do these ones. Okay, cool. I'll do these 88. Thank you for the 100. You ready to go? Yep. So like, once
Got
again,
it. It makes sense.
I don't go into anything unless knowing like I can do it, give you what I'm telling you what I can do. And if I have to say no, I'll say no or give you another solution.
Okay.
Like in
So
a solution like
makes sense.
yeah, like a solution where it's like I can't do it for $50, but I can do it for like $200. Oh, I can't do it. Okay, sorry. Like
It is what it
I
is.
know you're gonna say no, and I want you
Yeah.
to say
But if
no.
they said, yeah, it's worth my time
But then
now.
if they say yes to that, I have a solution. It's gonna be on-demand trash removal, and I'm gonna have to send someone out there. It's gonna be $50 a week. I'll break even on it, but I know from these 88, I'm making some money on it.
Got it. Oh, that's a good aspect. So number 1, top lesson, reverse engineer.
Always
Number 2, top lesson.
under promise, over deliver. In an aspect, you don't want to tell anyone you can do something when you can't. You have one first impression, whatever it is, and if you do a good job for them, you do under promise and over deliver. They're going to share that information with other people.
It'll grow by itself.
Yes, and that's what happened. Like I'm still the only sales guy at Cam Monkey. I'm still the marketing guy at Cam Monkey. I'm still wearing many hats, even as a CEO. I wouldn't be able to keep scaling the like people. Me, we met with investors recently, and they're looking at our our cost of acquisition costs and all these things. Like, how is this so low? This is not. You can't do this. How's this so? I'm like, it's me. Yeah, but how are you going to scale this even bigger? I'm like, I don't know yet. Like right
We're
now,
not there yet.
we're not there yet. But as we're growing
We're
right
rolling
now,
with
this
it.
is what we're doing. I'll hire a sales guy. The sales guy will come in. I'll tell him exactly what I'm doing. Maybe do like TV ads down the road. Maybe do radio ads. We've never done any of that yet. We've
Yeah.
done
You
nothing.
grew this without doing none of that.
Nothing. All this has been bootstrapped. All this has just been me just grinding. And so when people say, Alex, you have 4 kids, you're married, you weren't making any income, and now you're in all these different states and you grew this company to now like you guys are doing over we'll do $3 million this year in revenue.
Mhm.
Just off monthly recurring revenue, just from our current clients. Not in loan, that's not including can cleaning, on-demand trash removal.
You guys do can cleaning now
And
too.
yeah, we've
Got it.
been doing that as extra services. We're already there.
You're
I
there.
already see I have photos. I tell my can runners to take pictures of. I now tell the client, hey, just want to let you know this can stinks. Do you want us to clean that for you? Oh, yeah, thank you. Outsource it to a person who has a truck and then does it. So I don't recreate the wheel. I like to once I can control it, I can manipulate it a little bit, and it's volume. So like
Yeah.
now,
I like that.
yes, like even with the on-demand trash removal, I can see all the excess trash. I can see all this stuff. If I want to start a butler company, I could do it. I have the can runners. I'm already
Easy.
at the property. I can already build a
And you
route
have
on
your
it.
system.
I have
That software is huge. You could now
yes.
implement that for any business, really.
And that's what we're doing. And so now I'm building a software company to where I
Yeah,
build up.
makes sense.
I have an application. It's a foundation. It's like a house. So maybe you want the same house, but you want another garage. I can change it for you. But for the most part, all this is already here. It's like cleaning companies. Like, yeah, there's different companies out there that you could go and buy the application, but like you now have a chance to have your own application that's white labeled to you, that's built for kind of like what our business is not the same, but I can have you get
Yeah,
photos. They can be time stamped. There's API connections. You can connect to different like Guesty and Breezeway and all these different companies that are out there that you need to. And so now I'm taking this technology side of the business that I didn't even know really was a thing, and now I'm connecting it easy.
and
So
it's
now
there.
I'm connected with Airbnb, for example. So now, say you gave me 10 properties, and I have those 10 properties on. I can now connect to you if you're on Airbnb and say, "Oh, you actually have 15 listings, and I only have 10. Oh, I forgot about those. Yeah, here's this." So now I can see everything. So being connected with these different Airbnbs, I see your calendar. I know when you have check-ins and checkouts, departure dates and arrivals. So now I know that, hey, your trash day is Monday. You have a departure on Thursday, an arrival on Friday. Do you want me to come and do
How
the
you gonna
on-demand?
take care of that?
I can do the on-demand trash removal for you. I can schedule it for you automatically. Do you want it? Yep, done.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So number 2, under promise, over deliver.
yeah,
Number 3, as we wrap this up,
yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't know. You're putting me on the spot.
because you have a lot of life lessons through here, but
I
I
do.
feel like there was a top 3 that got you here, and I know the top. I already know the 3, but
I
I
would
don't
say
think they're.
I don't. I'd say
I would say the 3rd is exactly how you explained it. Jump in,
yeah.
and it'll roll the way it's supposed to roll.
I was gonna say
Don't overthink shit.
no. I was gonna say be delusionally optimistic,
Yeah,
and that was like,
it's
and
huge.
I think that like
I
like I said,
got you here.
it got me here. And what you learn from me when you talk to all these different business, and now I'm a CEO, right? I hate that. Now I truly am one. But in the beginning, like when you start your own company, you give yourself a title. You're like, this is silly. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah. Do it barely doing
the
this.
yeah. But now after I meet with all these different business owners that,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Your
they're like, oh
meetings,
yeah,
things you gotta connect with.
and they're like, oh wow, you're doing this and this. Oh my god. I'm like, oh, am I really doing a good job? Like it's that self-limiting belief, like
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome. I think that I've heard that if you feel like you're in imposter syndrome, then that means you're not, because
Mhm.
that's how you should feel. You should feel you're out of place, and that when you're out
Exactly.
of place, that means you're doing something right. I never want to be in the same position as I was before. I want to be evolving in some aspect, and but going back to yeah, it's just jumping in, and what I tell
Love
people
that.
now is like the Nike saying, just do it. It's the truest thing. Just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? you're gonna fail. I bet you're gonna learn some things from it. You might even meet someone from it, and that the connection you just met might turn into something
Could have led
else.
something better that you maybe you
A
didn't even think
thousand
about.
percent, or maybe 3 years later. You never know.
It's true.
And then now, like when I look at my life and things that happen and whatnot, like I just all been from like, some of these things just happen. Like some of your past life comes back into
Realigns everything
it
and
does.
confirms exactly what you were doing is
I'm a
correct.
big believer in the universe, and we're all connected by the one mind. And as long as you just do good and you're putting it good things out there, you will gravitate to those people who need you.
100%.
I have some mantras I say every day. Like I said earlier, like one of the things is I'm a beacon of light for those who can't see in the dark, and it's already happened. Time just hasn't caught up yet. I alluded to that earlier.
Yeah.
It's like you just think, look, I already have 10,000 properties. It just hasn't happened yet, but it's there. It's coming. At the end of this year, I'll have 10,000 properties. You just got to believe it. And then when you believe it, it's going to happen. Um,
I love that.
yeah,
I love that, man.
yeah,
You have poured so much into my audience, to everybody here. I know people are going to find value in this.
me too.
Now, if number one, thank you for taking some time coming out here. I know you're busy, you're CEO, and I want you to go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find your guys' company, if they have questions, whatever, whether it's Instagram,
Yep.
website, whatever it is. So go ahead and take a look.
Yeah.
Let them know who you are again and where they can find you.
Thank you again. Alex Shapiro, CEO, co founder of CamMonkey. Our website's cammonkey.com. Go on there, check it out, see if we're in your market. You can sign up a property, get you on a route as soon as possible. I'm on LinkedIn, K period Alexander Shapiro. I'm on Instagram, Facebook as Alexander Shapiro. Reach out, say hi. If you have any questions, if you're intrigued in what I'm doing, if you want to try to do something on your own market, I am an open book. I will tell you what to do. I might say not do it, but at the same time, I will give you all the resources I have, as I wish that I had that in the beginning. Just do it. Whatever you're trying to do, it will all work out. Once you commit, the universe will assist. And you just have to truly believe that.
Sounds good. Thank you guys. And again, I hope you guys have found some value in today's show.